All right, two things in this video. First of all, we hit 2,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. I don't know where to even begin, but I don't want to dwell on it too much in this video. I think we'll talk about that in a different video in general, more of a celebratory video for that. But today's video, I have a question. What if LEGO had continued this philosophy into 2002 with the Borak sets? Now, this is something I've made a video on before, but I am actually starting a little bit of a project. I just want to go ahead and tease. So this is the McDonald's Matoran, Tohunga, Mctoran, whatever you want to call it. And it is a lovely build. It's also quite intelligent in the way it is designed because it is designed to be very easy for kids to put together, utilizing just one type of connection, a pin into pinholes, which works out rather well. It makes it easy to not confuse A, where pieces go, and B, well, the build itself. You can't really get it wrong if you only got a handful of connection points, right? All of the pieces feature that pin connection, with the exception of the mask, of course, having a stud, which will still fit into those pinholes, and of course the disc, which is proprietary. But you'll also notice that all of these pieces are a decent size, and that's intentional too, because LEGO can't control who gets these, right? Once it is in McDonald's hands, well, McDonald's is the arbiter of who's old enough and who's too young to get one of these, so they can't have kids choking on these pieces, right? So they made them with large pieces, but also all of these pieces are completely compatible with LEGO pieces already, Bionicle pieces as well. It gave you, at the time, exclusive masks, exclusive discs. It was incredible. It's such a smart move. With that said, though, my thought was, so let's extend this to the Borak, right? The Mcborak, if you will. I know it's a silly name, but I love it. Let's go ahead and hop on over into, well, actually, we'll do that here in a second. First of all, just want to mention the reason I didn't make this video yesterday was because I was actually making a mold for this piece for resin casting. So I actually currently have that in casting now in the pressure pot with one of these in orange, hopefully. It'll probably end up being a little bit darker than traditional orange just because the white tints that I have, the white dyes that I have, colors, pigments, whatever, are a little finicky, so they can separate out really easily. It's really unfortunate. Let's go ahead and get right on into the Mctoran builds. Mctoran, yeah, Mcborak. Anyway, so these are them. And you'll see right off the bat, first of all, these, in theory, would be cheaper to produce than the McDonald's Matoran, mostly because there's only one new piece here. It is the launcher itself. And you guys may not know, but LEGO actually made a launcher that does work with Borak shields. That probably wasn't intended, but this launcher right here, this actually came with a Nestle promo back in 2006 with some little Paraka. And it's cool because A, it comes in some exclusive colors like this dark bluish gray, medium blue, Keat orange, but also because it can fit Borak shields. It's not intended to do so. It comes with its own proprietary disc, but it can fit them and it works. It also works with the standard discs as well. It actually works really well with these, so it'll shoot them quite far. It's a lovely piece. Thankfully, not terribly expensive to get your hands on either, but let's go ahead and hop back on over here because I love this as an idea, right? So it's just a solid body. You can see in the design here, it's got some little like Borak eyes molded into it. That's just because, again, this can't have too many pieces. It can't have small pieces. And so, yeah, people were like, well, when you make it, add an axle hole. But then the axle hole gets in the way of where the disc goes. And also the axle hole would make kids, if they're building with it, be like, oh, well, what's supposed to go here? Yes, there is a axle hole in the back, and that is just so that you can store the Borak shield on the set when it's not in use. So it's actually designed so that the Borak shield itself can be behind the figure. The main reason for this is because the McDonald's Matoran can hold all of their pieces, including their disc, in that case on the back of the head. So I wanted to make sure that this could hold all of its pieces at any given time. This set here comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces, so one less than the McDonald's Matoran, but the idea is that you could potentially get 2 shields per. I don't know if that's necessary, but it's good fan service, right? And the other idea is that they come with some exclusive recolors, like these orange feet, tan, lime green, all secondary colors here. Of course, in this case, the dark gray would not be exclusive to this since Nuparu came out with it, and of course Kopiki would come out with it in 2003, but still would be nice to get, and of course you're getting some exclusive pieces in terms of the Mcborak body, right? So A, I really like the fact that they're at least somewhat round, and B, you'll also notice that part of that roundness is achieved by utilizing the windscreen on these guys, right? And so in this case here, with the orange color, those would all be collectible items. Each of these essentially coming with 2 collectibles, the shield, the windscreen, all in brand new colors, right? And all kind of mixed up. You're not getting the fire shield with the fire one, you're getting a water shield, because why not, you know? This time you're getting an ice fire shield. So I think it's a really cool concept. And of course, the idea is that you're supposed to shoot the disc at your opponent's McBorak, and the way that these windscreens are attached is essentially a proprietary hinge, and the idea is that it grasps onto the bottom pinhole, but it's not a secure connection, it's just a friction connection. And so that windscreen would hold itself up at a certain position because of some pieces built onto the inside or some geometry built onto the inside, but it's a loose connection there. And so when you hit it with a Borak shield, it will actually dislodge that connection at the bottom where it's being grasped, and the windscreen will fall off. Essentially, it acts as a mask. The reason I chose the windscreen and not a Krana is because Krana are little gummies, you know? And so if kids are getting their hands on this, they're going to want to eat that, right? So this just helps to mitigate that a bit, especially if the Krana's around other food, you know? And also, just in general, I think that it works out really well here because it's much larger, right? It's much easier to hit a Borak windscreen with the disc than it is to hit a Krana, you know? And so it's also kind of shaped right, you know, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's going to help out, but I think it works. It just kind of works. So I really like this one, especially the fact that when like the windscreen is folded over, basically all of the color you see is relegated to the eyes themselves, right? So the eyes kind of stick out from underneath the windscreen, but all the rest of it is pretty much hidden. So the eyes not being transparent still at least are a solid different color from the rest of the model. You'll notice that the colors I chose for the launchers are 3 primary colors with red, white, and blue here, and 3 tertiary colors with old purple, dark orange, and dark turquoise. And that was intentional as well, A, because they complement the color schemes of each of these very well, but also because that will help those eyes to sort of stand out, if that makes sense, right? Because that piece, that body, is the only piece in that color in that set. All of the other pieces in the set are orange or dark gray or tan, so it really stands out. And I love this as a concept. This would also mean, in theory, that we would get all of the original 18 colors. And let's not just think about that, but let's also think about combination models, because I actually designed some with these guys, because why not, right? So the idea is that each of them is slightly different from the other, but you get the Mcdonald's Matoran that have their combinations, so why would you not also get these, right? And so the idea is it just has these little disc launchers on each side, fully functional, disc launcher in the center, also functional as well. And I love this. It works out so well. It looks good. You get the eyes still showing here really well. What's not to love, you know? And so there's just the one last picture is a little bit of a teaser to sort of show them to your audience, I guess, or whatever, right? If you were going to see this on the cover of a comic or something like this is probably what you'd see. Conceptually, I think this is pretty perfect. Surely it can be done better, but think of it like this. Again, all of these connections are the same type of connection, with the exception, of course, of the shield going into the disc launcher, and of course with the exception of the windscreen being a proprietary connection, but it's still a click-in connection nonetheless, so in theory should be easy enough for kids to understand, right? The rest of the connections are pins into pinholes, so that keeps things easy. Of course, you have the extra connection on the back for storing your Borak shield when it's not in use, which I think works out quite well. And in this case here, only one piece is new, being that connector, or that body, I guess. So I really love this one. I think that this is a fantastic idea. So my idea here is resin casting this in orange because we have the windscreen piece in orange. I probably will have to resin cast at some point, or just paint at some point, some of the Matoran feet orange as well, just for the sake of a video, right? And then the body I'm having 3D printed. The one other thing I wanted to mention too, although it's not in the pictures that you just saw, is where the Borak eye holes are, or eyes are on it. They now have little bar holes in there just for your own connectivity purposes later. Nothing in there contains bars, so a kid shouldn't in theory be able to get it confused with anything else. Could have been axles too. I think that would have been great, but it's just an idea, you know. And yeah, I love it. So hopefully I'll be getting a 3D printed one of these so that I can start resin casting them so that they're a little more pliable, because the 3D prints are going to be a little fragile. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with. So hopefully I'll get to follow this video up with an actual real life one of these. It would honestly be a dream come true. That's going to be it though for this one, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you are subscribed. It really does help out. You can get us past that 1200. No, that 2,000 mark. Let's head towards 3,000, I guess, right? And of course, as always, make sure to tune into the conversation either in the comments here. Let me know your thoughts on any of these guys, or what you would change about them. Or of course, check out the Discord, Instagram, or Patreon if you want to support the channel and get some perks down in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.